Hello, everyone, and welcome along to episode 63 of the This is the Music Meets podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by friends of the show, Benji, Joe, and Sam, who are, of course, from the mighty Lock-In and have just performed a storming set at the Garage in London on Saturday night on the biggest night of their lives. As well as getting the lads' reaction to that, we're going to discuss their upcoming tour, their surprise new single release, Do You Like Good Music? And we've also got a little bit of chat in there about football as well. So, lads, Saturday night, what a night. What was it like for you?
Mental. I think that's the only way to put it, to be honest, mate. Surreal. And I think I've only sort of just come down from it and sort of really looked through the videos and sort of processed the night itself, really. Like, there's just no other way to describe it other than mental.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
How about you, Joe? Was it? I mean, it looked pretty emotional from where I was stood on the, at the gig. How was it?
I think for us, it's obviously we were there all day anyway, so it kind of all the hard work led up to that day, and then you're sort of sitting around for ages then in the day, sort of waiting for you actually to get on stage, and you have all this preparation and getting all the merch ready and the set ready and stuff, and you kind of don't think about it, and then you're standing at the side of the stage, and we had our new intro track playing, and Gus was the first one to walk on the stage, and you can just hear how loud it was, and I was like, oh bloody hell, I don't want to walk on yet. It was quite I think it's mainly how loud it was for me that sort of got me a bit giddy because you don't usually get that. We haven't really since, especially like Truck Fest was the last time we played to a crowd of such a big size. So to do it in front of people that were there to see us, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, sure. And Sam, obviously, one of the things that's always apparent to me whenever I've seen you live before, and it was there again on Saturdays, it does look like every time you're on stage that you look like you're having the time of your life, like individually and obviously as a collective as well as a band members.
Oh, 100%, yeah. As Joe said, it was a lot of waiting around as well, as it usually is. But I think that makes it a little bit better because you're kind of trying to pass it off, sort of thinking, don't get nervous, none of this, none of that, just be patient, all of that. And then it just hits you like that. Like those last 2 hours will go quick.
Yeah, I think as soon as the first band comes on, like as soon as San Quentin come on, it's just like you blink and then you're on.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have time to think about it. And then just in the like before the show, like back like in the green room, just like playing tunes, just sort of getting hyped for it, really.
Yeah, sure. And you sort of a little bit mentioned there before that you've been reflecting on, like, looking back on the videos and stuff like that. I mean, just reading it off here, 600 people. It's the biggest headline show to date. Even now, what are we 3-4 days later, whatever it is. Can you still, are you still trying to get your head around it? Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of like, wow, that was us. I know when you was on in the summer, obviously you were saying, all the other bands that have played there, and it was pretty like mind blown. Is that still the feeling?
Yeah, definitely. I think because we worked so hard to put it together, and like it's quite a long lead up. I think we announced it in like November time, like around Sweet Love. So that's a long time to sort of, get ready for it. And I think it's only really in the last month it's actually dawned on me where I was like, oh my God, like that's a lot of people, especially when the last few tickets start going. You're down 50 tickets, then you're 20 tickets. It's just one big mind fuck, to be honest with you.
Definitely. So one of the things as well that I wanted to ask was the set list, because obviously you came out with the unreleased track. I think it's called Easy, which was quite a big statement of intent, really, to come out, with a song that not many people have heard of before. Certainly hasn't been released yet. So kind of like, then what was the thinking behind that?
I think as soon as we wrote that song, we knew that it was going to be an opener, and say our producer Curtis had made that intro track,
right,
blends in perfectly. So we thought, what better way to start the set than with that. And so we did think about consciously making that set list or one of its own. So we did sort of rejumble things that would usually be at the end. So like we always close with yours sincerely, so Benj can stage dive. But so that's when we did the little encore.
Yeah, I think as well with Easy is like, as you say, Sam, the intro track runs perfectly into it. And with the music that we have got coming up and what we have written already, I think it felt appropriate to open with that, because maybe that's how, you know, things are going to go in the future with the music we release, without giving too much away. And I think like you've got the audience's attention at their peak when you come out on stage, and to go out there with a new track is like a bit of a statement. And also our crowds tend to obviously be very lively, and if you play a song halfway through the set that's new, you know, even though that's a high energy song, the chorus is still, you can jump around to that. You know, it might, because people want to listen to the song. Yeah. People want to hear a new song. They want to hear what the song's about. I think if you open with it, it's a good chance to let everyone settle and let everyone hear it. And then, you know, we went in with it with Vandross next, and you know it's gonna go off. So I think that's a good way to sort of ease into the set.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, it sounded fantastic, and you know, it sort of sounds like that's going to be released in the maybe in the not, you know, in the near future, at least. But obviously, sort of keeping that momentum of obviously live music going. You obviously announced you're going back out on tour at the end of May and the beginning of June. You've got 31st of May, you're at 33 Oldham Street in Manchester. 1st of June, Sneaky Pete's in Edinburgh. 2nd of June, Audio in Glasgow, and then finally you're in Newcastle at 0x on 3rd of June. Tickets are on sale now at thisfeeling.co.uk, and we'll put the link for that in the episode bio. And I believe I'm right in saying that this is actually going to be the first time that you've played a gig, or gigs, I should say, sorry, up in Scotland. So kind of like, how excited are you to be getting up to that part of the country, or the world, probably I should say?
Yes, I've never ever been to Scotland before, so I don't know about the other boys, but I'm actually just excited to visit somewhere new. To be fair,
and
don't forget your passport.
I think Newcastle as well. You know, I mean, even away from the gig as a night out, it's going to be pretty mental on a Saturday night. Yeah. So we found out that it was a Saturday night. That was another added bonus. So we're hoping a lot of our mates are going to come up as well and sort of us up there, because, you know, it's a good night out for them as well as us. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I mean, Scotland, you know, the crowd have witnessed a couple of 2 or 3 gigs up there over the years, and they are, you know, and we're talking about, you know, bands that are on, you know, similar to yourselves, you know, it's sort of like that grassroots, you know, sort of stage type of thing, you know, looking to make a name in that, and the gigs each time they've gone off. So I'm sure when you're up there that it's going to be exactly the same. But also as well, just you know, I think it's a couple of weeks away now, isn't it? You've announced a gig about half an hour or so ago, I think it was roughly, at the Harlow Playhouse on the 22nd of April. Is that going to be like a full band gig, or are we looking at you know, that maybe being a stripped back set? Because obviously you've done, because it's with the Sunset session, isn't it? So yeah, it's easy for me to say.
Yeah, so usually they the last 3 years they've done like in a sort of forest setting, and it's very intimate. I think they're trying to expand their brand, and they've moved it to Harlow Playhouse just before summer. But it's still going to be intimate. It'll still be full band, but it's just an opportunity for like our local friends and family, especially like grandparents, and sort of our older crowd, to sort of come and be able to watch, rather than, you know, get stuck into the mosh pit or have knee cramps.
Brilliant. No, great stuff. And obviously, as well, obviously in the build up, obviously with the garage gig, understandably there was plenty of promo, you know, last few tickets and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, as I say, stuff that you'd expect to see. But I think it's fair to say that no one saw a new single being dropped as part of the build up. So kind of like, first of all, how do you feel about the reaction to the song, you know, like the reception that he's had, and also as well, kind of like, what was the thinking behind, you know, just dropping a song, kind of like with obviously a little bit different for you guys as well, because it was pretty limited build up and promo and stuff with it.
The reaction's been great. Like, we've had basically all of our friends, even all of our friends said that they really liked it, and even at the gig said it'd been out for a week.
Yeah,
people there singing the words, so I think that proves it. But we've done with Van Dross, we did a bit of a surprise drop as well, so we thought we'd try and sort of really push for the last week of the tickets for the garage. And we did another surprise drop, and it seemed to work as well.
Yeah, I think people like the surprise drops because, at the end of the day, you can do a load of promo, but if a song's good for certain, because we've got little different parts of our sort of supporters, and I think Do You Like Good Music fits in the bracket of a lot of our mates like them sort of tunes we released, the catchy ones, like Your Eye Caught Feelings.
No Discourse.
No Discourse. I think it really fits in Insecure as well, and I think it fits that bracket of song. And a lot of our mates obviously were at the gig, so I think it was the most appropriate song to drop just before the gig. And as Sam says, it was great to push the last week's tickets as well, and it did, because obviously we sold it out in the end. So
no, actually, well, it's obviously another top tune, and obviously thanks again for letting us have an early listen to it as well and being able to review it. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's have a little chat then about our respective football teams. We'll come on in a minute to your appearance on Soccer AM as well. But Sam, I'm going to come to you first on this one. Obviously, Arsenal, top of the league, absolutely flying this season. Do you think this is going to be, the first league title since the glory years of Arsene Wenger?
I'm not getting ahead of myself yet.
Taking it one game as it goes. Yeah, we're going to
very much so. I said I'll give my verdict after the City away game, because I know friends that have already gotten ahead of themselves, and I don't want to be in that boat and embarrass myself. So I'm staying very neutral at this point. Not going to say anything I regret.
Well, not on here anyway. It's not what you've been saying off camera, Sam.
We're going to win the league.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Yeah. Just on camera, you're like, oh, we won't win it. Behind the camera, it's going to end. You'll be like, yeah, we're definitely going to win it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I wouldn't blame him if he was. But I don't know if you did get a chance or not to see the game. Obviously on Sunday, he drew obviously against Liverpool. But I just really wanted to get all three of you really, but obviously Sam with you first. But what did you think of the incident, the elbow gate at half time with the Lino and Andy Robinson? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
It was just bizarre, wasn't it? I think if I had the opportunity, I would also like to elbow Andy Robertson in the throat, but
fair.
It's
well, they got tickets down for Scotland then, didn't it?
Yeah. It just seemed to come out of nowhere. He must have gone up and whinged about a decision, but I can't think of any poor decisions that Lino made. But he's been stood down now, which I think is probably fair enough, seeing as he elbowed him in the throat. But yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah. Benji, Joe, ever seen anything like that before?
No, I don't think you ever will either. That's mental. That is mental.
But what made me laugh was after the game, Roy Keane was calling him a baby, Andy Robertson a baby. Well, I can't remember who he was called a baby, but was moaning at the linesman and the players shouldn't have been moaning at each other. And then someone replied to the picture with Roy Keane getting right in the face of a linesman and just what a hypocrite.
I think Andy Robinson's probably lucky that he wasn't the same era as Roy Keane, because I think Keane would have probably hung fu kicked him or something like that. I think it's probably fair to say. Obviously Benji and Joe, obviously like me, long suffering West Ham fans. I think it's fair to say that the Moisés impact and effect has seems to be a distant dream now. Is he going to keep us up? Please give me some faith that it's going to happen.
I think it's going to go down to the last game of the season still. But it just seems to be we'll get a good result and it'll be like, oh, he'll stay another game. And then we know we get a rubbish result, we lose. And then it's like, oh, well, he's out. But I think it's too late now anyway. It's not going to make a difference. I'd like to say he's going to keep us up, but at what cost, I don't know. But we're still at Europe as well. Do you go down and win European competition? Do you stay up and win nothing? I don't know. It's a bit of an awkward situation to be in, but yeah, I think we're relying on other teams for one, and secondly, just got to hope. Get your fingers crossed, really.
So let me put this scenario then to you, Joe. Win the Conference League and go down. Would you still keep Moyes as manager in the Championship next year? Because I mean, I'm not necessarily saying myself, but some might argue that he's actually got enough credit in the bank to try and, having won the, first competition in 40 odd years, that he's got enough credit in the bank that he deserves to start off the following season if we were in the Championship.
Oh, I don't know. It's a difficult one because we shouldn't be going down with the team that we've got anyway. So arguably, and I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. We played well in the Europa Conference League, but we've not exactly played anyone really that would be up there in the Premier League anyway. So I probably would say no. I think we need a fresh start, and with the players we've got, yeah, again we should be challenging for the top places like we were the season before. So
yeah, I think it's run his course really. Like, we had a brilliant couple of seasons of him. But even towards the latter end of last season when we were in the Europa League, like the final stage of the Europa League, I still don't think we were playing that well in the Premier League. And what is it, like 14 wins in how many games or something silly like that?
He's about 50, I think 51.
Yeah, I think his decision making's off. It's only taken him till last game to play two up front. Souček still starts, baffles me.
mine obviously, clearly you guys were at the garage and didn't get to see it, but I hope that experiment of two up front is gone, especially in a 4-4-2, because we had 20% possession in the first half. And again, I don't think I've ever seen, with all due respect to Fulham, we're not talking like Man City or Arsenal here. Do you know what I mean? Like, teams that you'd expect to have a lot of the ball.
Yeah. I've said to Angus and Ollie though, that's the exact type of win that you need at this point. I mean, the issue is you've still got your harder games ahead of you because you still got to play City, Arsenal, United, Brentford. Is it Liverpool as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's at least 12 points there. I think I can.
Well, we'll ruin your title hope, Sam. So that's one guaranteed win.
Yeah, that's next weekend, isn't it? That'll be a fun one.
It's this Sunday, I think, isn't it?
This Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've lost track of who we've got and who we haven't got now, to be perfectly honest. But sticking with the football theme, Soccer AM. That looks pretty good from where I was sat in my front room when it was on.
We just make an agreement right now. Right, we'll talk about Soccer AM, but Sam's not allowed to mention his goal.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to mention anything.
But yeah, no.
But I can. We'll come on to that maybe in a minute. We'll see. But first of all, let's just go through like the actual day itself in terms of like setting up for the little gig. I don't know whatever you want to call it, really.
Yeah, performance. Yeah, I think so. It was 2 days. But on the Friday, we got there quite late in the afternoon. We did a little rehearsal, and then we got there far too early on Saturday morning. At like 7 o'clock. Bear in mind, it's in West London. We're like northeast of London, so we had to go all the way around. But yeah, the day itself was unbelievable, to be fair. Just all the staff there, all the team, Fenners, Bullard, everyone there is just so welcoming, so nice. And it was just like such an amazing day. Apart from the security guard on the front door telling me did I turn up in my pajamas? That's where that whole joke started with Fenners. Absolutely fuming. When we got into the front, like to sign in, I went up to the guy. I was like, "Oh, we're on Soccer AM today. Like, we've got like passes." And he goes, "Are you still in your pajamas?" And like it wasn't even like he was joking because there was no one else with me. They were all standing behind me while I just asked this bloke. And I've gone, no. I just turned around to the boys. I've obviously told them. They've started wetting themselves. And then before the show, we're speaking to Fenners and someone's dropped it. And oh, God, yeah.
All about the delivery with these sort of things are probably fair to say. But I mean, obviously, the little penalty shootout there the volleys rather in the car park at the end of the show. I mean, Sam, you obviously scored a fantastic goal. It has to be said. Just talk us through it. What was going through your mind when that when it come down to you and?
Well, first and foremost, I had a bet with Gus for a fiver that I wouldn't score, and it had been keeping me up for a few days. I wasn't nervous about the music side of it because we've been doing that for a while. I was positive that we'd put on a show there, but I was thinking, what if I make myself look like a dick in the volleys? That kept me up for 3 days straight. But I do have to say the TV angle has done me wonders because it's pure shin.
Yeah, I was gonna say make yourself look like a dick, but yeah, I was gonna say the angle probably made you look a lot better, Sam.
Well, as I've said many times before, how many goals did you score, Benj?
Yeah, I scored a few in the rehearsals.
We've only got your word for that. There is no evidence, and I've heard that the clips have all been destroyed as well. Apparently.
All I'm going to say is me and Benj both scored the same amount as Frank Leboeuf, who played for France. So.
More goals than a World Cup winner is something that's going on my tombstone.
Brilliant, great stuff. So we're gonna chuck some little quick fire questions at you now. So the first one is, you've already done a TV show, so you might have already been on the only one you want to be on. But let's find out. If you could go on any TV show as a contestant, what would it be?
Go on, Sam.
Pointless. Me and Ollie applied to do it when we played in Manchester a few months ago. But I reckon I've got the perfect useless knowledge to be on Pointless.
Yeah, well, we was in Brighton waiting for sound check, and I got up on my phone like some mock ones. Oh, can you hear me? If I've broken up.
Yeah, you're still good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Oh, it froze for me. Basically, yeah, we got some pointless questions up. I can't remember what the question. Can you remember?
I can remember what it was. It was football teams that end in the word United, and there was only one pointless answer, and it took me a matter of 2 seconds, and I just pulled it out of nowhere.
Blimey, I'm trying to think of one here. I mean, some of the ones I'm thinking of are too obvious, I think.
In the English Football League as well. So Prem
so we're just talking the top 4 divisions. We're not talking about the conference or anything like that. Scunthorpe?
Carlisle.
Ah, of course.
I think Scunthorpe was like 2 or something like that. It wasn't far behind it.
I'll tell you that. Well, if you need a backup, Sam, if Gus can't do it or whatever, I am available. But just on football questions, that's it. Anything else, forget it. So we've got pointless from Sam. What about you, Benji and Joe? What would be your choice?
I like my cooking. I think Sunday brunch, if we get a little performance on there.
Yeah,
and then,
Lovejoy.
A bit of Lovejoy, then a bit of food. I like my food, so I think that'd be quite good. Get some good bands on there.
Yeah. I've gone a bit different. Dick and Dom in the Bungalow.
Brilliant, bringing it back.
Yeah, what a program.
But to be fair, on a more serious one, I reckon Jules Holland as well. That'd be mega, wouldn't it?
That'd be good. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, good. He does it. He gets lots of different bands on there as well, which I think is quite good to see. And obviously, as well, if you could have written, any song in history, which song would you choose?
Happy Birthday. I reckon that gets quite a few royalties.
But which version? Are we going with a Stevie Wonder version?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a class shout. You'll bear in mind, like that song must get put on all the time. No,
Well,
it
at
wouldn't
least,
be
well, probably every day, I would have imagined.
that. Should I really? What song would I put on? What song would I be? What song would it be?
Hey Jude by the Beatles has got to be up there as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
gonna say something by the Beatles. I think that's probably one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, both great shouts, I have to say. Absolute classics, aren't they?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't think.
You're going with Happy Birthday, brilliant.
I think that just about sums it up, really, doesn't it?
And you write the lyrics for the band. Wow.
He writes the music, he writes the lyrics.
So kind of like then as well, obviously we've discussed obviously you're going out on tour in a couple of weeks, and obviously we've discussed obviously the massive gig that you did at the garage on Saturday, but kind of like what other plans have you got for 2023? I mean, obviously we're not that far away from festival season. Is there any movement on that this year? Or are you, we're looking at, maybe another tour later on in the year or new music? What's the thoughts?
I think all the above, mate. To be fair, that's the aim, and then even maybe getting in another London show towards the latter end of the year is where we want to go with it, really. But I think for the minute, just keeping momentum. We've only released Do You Like Your Music and Sweet Love in the last sort of 8-9 months. So I think priority right now is music, and we've got it coming at our ears at the minute in terms of us writing it. And yeah, I think we're really settled into this new era of music. We know where we want to take it. So I think we're just excited for that, to be honest with you. And anything that follows is just an added bonus. But yeah, summer festivals would be amazing, but we'll see about that, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And just on the you're saying that you've got a lot of music, a lot of songs. That you've written. Is that more like looking just to be sort of doing, like one-off single releases, or would you maybe consider like looking at, I don't know, like 3-4 track EP type of thing, or at the moment are you quite happy with, the single releases?
I think we definitely want to release a body of work at some point, especially with the quantity of songs we've got in a minute. It's just sort of pairing what songs work together well and what songs would work well as singles, because we're only a few months into the year. And obviously in this day and age, to keep any sort of momentum going, you need to keep releasing music constantly. So it's figuring out what ones will work best in sort of what environment. But yeah, that is the aim. So you'll have to wait and see, Mark. I don't want to give too much away, Mark.
You could tell me later. But lads, that is the end of the This Is The Music meets Lock-In podcast. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on and chatting, either doing this or off screen or etc. whatever. But before you do go, I'm sure that everyone knows where they can find you on social media, but just in case they haven't come across you yet, where have you been? But can you just let them know where they can find you?
So yeah, at Lock-In_band on Instagram and Twitter, and then just search Lock-In. Our page will come up on Facebook. Anywhere else, it's just Lock-In on Spotify and all that. So yeah, thanks very much for having us, Mark. You're a top man and always supported us very, very muchly. So we appreciate you a lot.
Oh, not a problem at all. As I say, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I think it's the 4th episode I think we've had you on for now. So maybe we'll just rebrand the show. Probably easier, really, maybe. I don't know. But there you go. Lock-In, their new single, Do You Like Good Music, is out now as well across all streaming platforms. And we'll put the link to that and the socials in the episode bio. And as I say, thanks, lads, for coming on. And we will see you again, I'm sure, very, very soon.
Yeah,
Definitely. Nice one,
thanks
Mark.
for having us.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you are loving the podcast, show us some love by giving us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the bands we interview to be discovered. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again very soon.